So a lot of people, including myself, see the UCAT as just a really daunting and just really horrible and quite a scary thing in the medical application. But this video is going to be, am I in focus? I think I am. One sec. I'm Uwa, I'm a third year medical student at the University of Nottingham, and welcome to my channel. I upload loads of posts and videos which hopefully you find useful for your medical application, just to support you and to guide you throughout it. Head over to my Instagram and my website. I'll leave them on the screen. I'll also link them down below, and make use of the things I put out there. Share them, use them, reach out to me if you've got any questions. Let's get on with today's video. I'm going to be taking you through a quick guide of how you can get into med school in the UK, the process, just a brief overview. I'm not going to be going into too much detail about the entire application process because I've got loads of other pieces of information, various videos, posts, TikToks, Instagram highlights. The list is endless. I've got loads of things already that's going to give you the advice you need for different aspects of the application. This is just like a general overview if you like. So if you enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to help my channel grow. Yeah. Let's go with the video. So I split this video into 3 parts. So you got your pre-application submission phase, you've got your application submission phase, and you've got your post-application submission phase. The medical application process is one hell of a but it's worth it. Okay, so let's go in chronological order because it makes sense to do that, and let's start with your pre-application phase. So it's called the pre-application submission phase as opposed to the pre-application phase because this is pretty much the start of the application, and it's basically anything that you do before sitting down to write your personal statement, if you like. So you're volunteering. This can be like at your church, if you do go to church, if you do bits there, at a rainbows, at a scouts group, at a hospice, or like your hospital tea round or trolley rounds, just stuff like that. Whatever you've done to volunteer. Med schools, they might have changed criteria because of COVID, but in the past they would have looked for at least 6 months volunteering. If you've got longer than this, like you volunteered right from like when you were 10 or something, say that, show you've got a long-term commitment. That's good and that's attractive. My voice broke. That's good and that's attractive. You can also talk about a part-time job, whatever this could be. You might have done HCA, healthcare assistant, or you might have some retail experience, or you might be a waiter, waitress, whatever your part-time job is, still talk about that. Talk about the skills that you've learned, and also any work experience you've got at the moment. This can either be virtual work experience, or if you've been fortunate enough to have it, this can be physical work experience. And when you're talking about your volunteering, your part-time job, your work experience, talk about the skills that you've learned. So how are these skills, these soft skills in particular, relevant to your medical application? How are they going to make you, my favourite phrase, a better future med student and future doctor? Again, like I said, I'm not going to go into too much detail about this. I've got posts on my page, and I've also talked about it in other videos, so I'll link them below that you can go have a watch of, and you can go have a read of and look at to learn more about what I mean when I say soft skills and relevant skills to your application. Also, something I'd recommend that you keep for these things is a reflective journal. This isn't a diary. I'm not saying every 5 minutes or on your lunch break you have to sit down and you have to write Dear Diary. Today I had a really heated confrontation with a customer, but I dealt well with it, etc. Nope. I'm not saying that at all. It's just simply think, maybe like at the end of the day of placement, for example, what was a key learning moment here? What's a key aspect here? What did I see? What's the takeaway message? Stuff like that. Again, there's more information on keeping a reflective journal on my page. I will link that below. Within your pre-application submission phase, you also want to widen your interest and your knowledge of medicine. And I really don't mean you have to learn basics behind certain diseases. Nope, you've got 5 years and the rest of your medical career to learn all that. I just mean learn more about what medicine entails. What actually is medicine? Ways you can do this is by carrying out research. So you can do independent research and then just talk about this in your personal statement and at interviews, or you can take part in research projects or contests. So ones that I know off the top of my head are HE+, your school or college is part of that scheme, or even Bright Ideas. I think this is for like years 11 to 13. Don't quote me on that, but I will link it below. And also you can do an EPQ. This can be quite stressful. It's a good learning opportunity, it's a good experience. And again, I'm just going to reiterate that you aren't doing the research project to learn more about medicine. So like if you are researching about, I don't know, the advances of treatment of asthma, you don't need to know about how salbutamol is a B2 agonist and it's like a bronchodilator. Is it? I need to check on my medicine 2 knowledge. But my point is, you don't need to know the nitty-gritty of the treatments. You just want to include, like in your research, how it's advanced, what's changed, how it's better, etc. Just don't get too bogged down on the sciencey stuff behind it all. Any opportunity you have to talk about your EPQ or any research you've done, it's going to be in your personal statement or at interviews. And more than anything, you are going to want to focus on the skills that you've learned. If like at interviews, they expect you to talk about a scientific topic, they will very likely give you a heads up and they'll tell you what they expect for you to talk about, what they expect for you to know and cover in the interview. So don't worry about that until then. Just do the EPQ or any research right now to expand your knowledge about medicine. So still with the pre-application submission phase, you've got your personal statement. I'd say start drafting this end of April, early May. And I'm saying this because that means you hopefully have your first full draft done by the middle of June or end of June, and you can show like your college tutors before you break up for summer. And then over summer, that gives you the opportunity to prepare for the dreaded UCAT, the next part of the pre-submission application phase. Pre-application submission phase, sorry, I said it wrong. So the UCAT is a very weird test. Again, I'm not going to talk about it in too much detail in this video. I advise that you should book it a bit later on in the summer holidays. Don't just have the mindset of, I want to book it in the first 2 weeks and get out of the way with, get it done with, forget about it. No, it's something that you want to prepare for properly and take seriously. Yes, not every med school looks at the UCAT in the same way. Some place a lot of emphasis than others, but a lot of med schools do place a massive emphasis on it. A high UCAT score does open up a wider range of med schools that you can apply to and that you can consider, but a low UCAT score honestly really isn't the end of the world. Here's a secret between me and you. After submitting your med application on UCAS, your UCAT score really isn't that big of a deal. Like, it is for the med schools and for the universities, but for yourself, the UCAT is just a hurdle you have to get over and to progress with your application. And if like any of your peers or anyone who's also applying for medicine or even dentistry is asking you about your UCAT score after you submit your application, it's because they just want to tell you they did better than you and they got like 900 on decision making. But what I'm trying to say is, once your application is submitted, you can forget about the UCAT potentially forever. But until then, just work for it so you do get a good score you can apply to whatever med school you want to. I currently do have a mini BMAT series on my page, so have a look at that. And it's basically my friends who do medicine dentistry who did the BMAT, giving you their advice based on their own experience. I'll link them below. Okay, so now we're moving on to the application phase. This is after summer holidays, back in September. Maybe you've got a tan, you've been abroad. Maybe not this year because you might be fined £5,000 and holidays expensive on its own. Anyway, you want to be looking at finalising your application now, tying up any loose knots, perfecting your personal statement, making it as good as it can be. You can do this by showing it to a few different people, get some opinions on it, get some feedback and improve it based on their feedback. But you want to avoid showing too many people. I'd say show a maximum of 4 or 5. And personally, I'd also say avoid showing your peers. Not to be coy or anything, but you're all applying in the same year group, and UCAS use something called, I want to say, copy catch, and they detect similarities. Any plagiarism detected could go against you. So someone could copy your personal statement and that's just not going to work in your favour. So yeah, avoid showing people who you're applying alongside of. And then as well as your personal statement, there's also other bits on UCAS which your college will go through with you. So once your personal statement is all done, you want to consider making a strategic application. This is going to be you looking at your application holistically. So going to consider your GCSEs, your UCAT score, your work experience, your personal statement, everything you've worked for and worked towards building your med profile, if you like. You're going to put all that together and you're going to apply to university and consider how they look at the different aspects. For example, if you've got strong GCSEs, apply to university which allocates points to GCSEs and invites into interviews based on higher points, for example, such as Nottingham. Hint hint. Or apply to universities who place a high emphasis on the UCAT. If you've got a strong UCAT score, just apply to your advantage where you can. Also consider the interview format. Is it MMI or is it a panel interview? And also something that I don't really hear being talked about a lot when people give you advice on your application is, can you imagine yourself living and studying where that university is for the next 5 years. So university is one part, but you have to have a life. You are human, so it's not just going to be study. You need to work hard and play hard. What's the student nightlife like? What they got to offer for students? What's the surrounding area like? Is it a small town or is it a city, and is that for you? Also, when you look at university websites, have a look at the accommodation, especially for first year, and how far is the accommodation from the med school, how far is it from the shops? Just things like that you want to bear in mind before submitting your application. Those things are more important than you actually realise. And also, think carefully about your 5th choice. This is something that I took for granted, didn't really consider well enough, and it kind of bit me in the butt. It wasn't too bad eventually because it worked out that I got my med offers, but at the time it just wasn't pleasant for me, and I'm going to talk about this in another video. So if you're thinking, what the hell am I on about, what mistake did I make, don't worry your little head, some more information on that is coming to you at some point. You submitted your application, well done, put your feet up for a day, because your application or your journey to med school isn't finished yet. You've still got to prepare for interviews, attend the interviews, and bang out 3 A's. At least. I recommend that you start preparing for your interviews around October half term. Even if you haven't already got any interview invites, still prepare for your interviews. Familiarise yourself with the different interview formats. Just prepare for the one that you are going to be attending when you do get the interview invite. You can also consider what you'd wear. So I literally got my interview outfit like 2 days before my first interview, and that's because I didn't really think about it thoroughly. But yeah, that's another story. Once you start receiving your interview invites, you're going to want to take your preparation a lot more seriously, do it more frequently, more often, but also at the same time you want to balance your A-level revision. Don't let your A-level grades suffer at the cost of your interview. Yes, interviews are very important, but even if you do get the offer and you don't get the minimum of the 3 A's at the end of the day, you potentially face the chance of losing out on that offer and going through clearing, etc. So yeah, make sure you are balancing your A-level revision well alongside. So yeah, like I keep on saying, I'm not going to give you too much information or too much advice about the different parts of the application process, as I've got all that everywhere else on my platforms. I'll leave a link to a couple of interview videos that I did towards the end of last year that you can have a watch of. After your interviews, you start receiving your offers, you start making your firm choices, you start accepting your offers, your firm choice, your insurance choice, etc. Make sure you do an insurance choice as well, because if it does fall through, you want something to fall back on, and it's just reassurance knowing that, like I said, there is something to fall back on. But from then on, it really is the home stretch. Get your head down and focus on your A-levels, and then when results day comes in August, you will be extremely happy, you'll be extremely proud of how hard you worked, and in about a month's time you'll be heading off to university and starting med school. Everything you've worked hard for is finally paying off and coming to pass, and trust me, from my own experience, I know it's absolutely amazing feeling. Like, I'm smiling now thinking about it. Anyway, thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you found it useful. And also, let's not forget what I've got for you guys and what I do to help you with your med school application. Head over to my Instagram to find out a lot more, and my TikTok, because I've been posting on that recently. And I don't just post advice, I post days in the life. So yeah, if you want to see snippets of days in my life at med school, what I get up to, head over to there. And if you did enjoy this video and you did find it useful, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And also, I'd really appreciate if you could share it, and let's help other people with their applications into medicine. Thank you guys as always for watching. I appreciate your love and your support. Take care, good luck with everything, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.